Hello, friends. It's Will Peoples with the Chatham County Public Information Office, and welcome to the chat. Thank you so much for stopping by. As of the recording of this podcast, it is late June, and in Chatham County, that means it's the rainy season, where it rains for about an hour in the afternoon, and then the sun comes out and steams us all like low country boil. But humidity isn't the only problem that comes with heavy rainfall. Today, I'm joined by Stormwater expert, Environmental Programs Coordinator Sydney Young here with Chatham County. Sydney, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess the best place to start is, what do you do here? What is your job? Tell me a little bit about your day-to-day duties.
Sure. So I have what I describe as the boring side and the fun side. So the boring side is a little bit more of the government policy side. For some people, I actually do find it interesting sometimes, but that is just dealing with, any sort of requirements that EPD puts on us, and it ultimately is to make the environment cleaner. And then the fun side is to talk with the community and basically, interact with the community and do as many outreach events as I possibly can before the next reporting cycle, which is in a year. So that is pretty much what I do on a day-to-day basis, and I try to meet our MS4 permitting requirements, and so I can talk a little bit about that, but basically that is my job here.
And those are a lot of words I didn't know.
That's okay. I put a lot of...
That's what we're here for. That's
yeah,
what we're here to learn about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess a good place to start is, what is stormwater?
Sure.
And how does it affect people here in Chatham County?
Absolutely. So EPA's definition is basically that stormwater is rain or melted snow that runs off of streets, lawns, and other sites. So basically, I don't think, we don't have the problem here with snow, but usually I know there was that one time in maybe 2018.
Yeah.
So mostly it's just, water from the sky, on the ground, and then running off the ground. So, and then what happens is that rainwater or mostly rainwater around here, can drag litter or pollutants into our local waterways, and so, that can carry certain things. So, stormwater is basically any of that runoff.
Gotcha. So how does that play into, how does the county deal with that? What do we do to deal with stormwater?
Right. So we have our permitting system. So basically the federal, it kind of trickles down policy-wise down to here, and basically we have certain requirements that we have to meet in order to keep our waterways clean. So what we do is basically we work with Public Works. So Public Works is maintaining all of our stormwater systems. So we have stormwater infrastructure, which basically keeps places from getting flooded. It keeps our areas regulated as far as in our built environment, because we have these impermeable surfaces, so surfaces where the water cannot percolate into the ground or go through the ground. So then it runs off, and that can create flooding problems. So here we try to control that.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So tell me a little bit about the green infrastructure and low impact development and how that plays into your role.
Yeah, so what we do is basically we really want to encourage people to have any sort of development project. We really want to have green infrastructure and low impact development. They're almost synonymous. The green infrastructure is the green infrastructure. I don't want to use the definition to define what this is, but basically it is kind of what it sounds like, where it can be retention ponds. So basically there can be ponds that can hold the water for a certain amount of time, and just more natural ways to go through the stormwater system without having as much of the stormwater runoff issues. So it's a way to kind of filter the stormwater whenever it drags pollutants down. So instead of it going directly into local waterways, it can filter it through a green system. So you can have these retention ponds that ideally will filter it using plant material or plant matter like trees and grasses, and so it'll filter it in a more natural way instead of us having to manually filter out a lot of these chemicals.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what's the, kind of approaching it from the opposite end of that, what happens if we don't go towards that? What is the benefit of what we do?
So the reason that it was enacted, I'm just going to kind of go way, way back.
Yeah, come on, yeah.
And I was just talking to our intern a few weeks ago about basically the Cuyahoga River fire happened, and basically it was a river that caught on fire because there were so many chemicals in it, and that is what triggered the start of the Clean Water Act. And so the Clean Water Act was passed in the 70s, and basically people said, okay, this is a river, it shouldn't be on fire. Water usually shouldn't be lighting on fire. So it was very polluted, and basically that triggered the Clean Water Act to come into place. And so when we don't have those kinds of these kinds of remediations and buffers, if you will, for litter and for chemicals, it does not bode well historically for the health of the environment and the health of people, because you need a healthy environment to have healthy people.
Gotcha, makes sense. So flooding is an issue that can be caused by bad stormwater runoff, pollution, litter, septic issues. These are all things that we're constantly working on, that you're constantly working
Right.
on. But what are some of the stuff that people can do to help, just your average everyday citizen?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of these issues, they come with things that people kind of see it, and they don't know probably a lot about stormwater. And to be perfectly honest, before I started here, I've learned a ton just by being in the role, because my background is forestry and environmental science. I do have a little bit, but with the average person, they're probably thinking, oh, this is up to the government. Oh, this. I mean, I can't be in the mind of an average person, but also I would imagine that if it were me, I would probably be thinking, okay, maybe I couldn't do much to help, but you actually can, and we really want a lot of people to kind of, come together and have this kind of community, because the environmental work cannot be done without the community, and it's not really left to one entity to solve it. So the things that the average person can do to help is don't litter. I mean, that is a huge, huge thing. I know this has been pushed for decades, but I think that there is still litter. I mean, it's just, you see it every day, and so don't contribute to the problem. Attend litter cleanups. It's a fun community engaging event, and you can meet new people. I like litter cleanups personally. I did one with the Chattahoochee River Keepers. There's some with the Savannah River Keepers. They're great. Don't litter. Follow the 3 R's, so reduce, reuse, and recycle. And I think a lot of people don't realize that actually is a hierarchy. So reduce first, then reuse, then recycle. I mean, that's the order in which it is ideal to have, this kind of environmental attendance. And so then there's also fats, oils, and greases. They're called FOGs, and whenever you're cooking, it's a nice little
FOG,
acronym. I know we use a lot of acronyms.
Yeah,
so when you're cooking, don't pour fats, oils, or greases down the drain. Dispose of them properly. And on that note, dispose of other chemicals properly. So if you're changing your oil at home, obviously do not put that down the storm drain. The storm drain eventually goes straight to our local bodies of water where our kids play, our ecosystems thrive. So we don't want to contribute to things going down the storm drain other than rain. So we did have a campaign that said only rain down the storm drain at one point, and so really that is what should be going down the drain.
Gotcha. And if anyone wants to make use of these resources or anything like that, you guys have the website you can go to, anything on there for everyone?
Yes. So we have Facebook. We have our Facebook page. I've recently tried to do Water Wednesdays, where I post a fact about water on Wednesdays. And I just, I kind of want to put little facts out there just to kind of keep it in the mind of whoever is on our stormwater page. But so that's one resource. We also have our Adopt a Drain website, where basically we want to go out and have drain tiling events, and so we'll go out, we'll put a QR code down on a stormwater structure, mostly on the curb that you see outside. There's usually, you can kind of tell there's what's called an inlet, and so it's off the curb, and there's usually a little manhole cover on top of it sometimes. So next to it, we put a little sticker, and it's just kind of people can adopt a drain to let us know about the quality of it in their neighborhood. It's just kind of a way of taking ownership of your environment.
No, those are a lot of great resources, and we'll be sure to put those in the link of the description of this podcast. So please go check that out. You can adopt a storm drain. You can't take it home, but you can adopt it and help out. So, Sydney, do you have any final thoughts for us? Anything else you'd like to share about about stormwater, environmental protection as a whole?
Yeah, just participate in the environmental cleanups as much as you can, and educate yourself as well on things that you're curious about the environment. I think it's always great to kind of go and look up, what's happening around my area, or what is this? Like I said, I use a lot of acronyms. You can look up, we have resources on our county website, and yeah, just kind of take ownership of your education and your participation in community, and don't litter, because it comes back to all of us. We are spending county money, we're spending money to pick it up, so it kind of comes back. It's all kind of full circle. So just kind of remember, there's nothing really linear about environmental work.
Gotcha. Well, Ziddy, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for joining us here on The Chat. Be sure to catch us next time.